Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the 252nd session of the online Optom learning series OOLS. And for today's session, we are going to discuss something which is probably becoming a part and parcel of our life, which is artificial intelligence. And we are going to look at how can we leverage on this with our research perspective, being clinicians and academicians and researchers on this call. And to lead this session, we have with us two speakers. We have Jothi Balaji sir, who is a clinical optometrist with over 3 decades of experience at Shankar Nethralaya. His expertise are within the areas of myopia management and ophthalmic imaging, and he serves as a senior manager at the Shankar Nethralaya and spends a lot of time mentoring students at the elite school of optometry and the Shankar Nethralaya Academy as well. And with Jothi sir, well affectionately known as JJB sir, I would say, we have Dr. Gopi. Dr. Gopi is an optometric educator as well as well-known researcher. He has key interest over innovative teaching methods and learning methods. And also he's worked quite a bit on the ethical practice of artificial intelligence in research. He also supports clinicians, optometrists to his consultancy services, which is Opto Research Consultancy Services, where he guides people on how to write research articles and how to conduct a research overall. So welcome to the both of you to lead this session for us at OOLS. And I'm going to hand this screen time to JJB sir to kick us from here, and we'll hear from Dr. Gopi soon. So thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. We fondly call him Barodawala most of the time, but we know him way back in 2007. And he was a participant in a EV memorial session. That time he was completed his undergraduate or about to complete, and he came and presented his work at Shankar Nethralaya as a student. And next, my interaction with him, which is relatively long, but not within India, it's outside India. And we were colleagues in Malaysia. We were working in a lecturer post in two different institutes. On weekends, we have a chance to meet, go around, have a lunch or a dinner together. So that is our friendship. And it has been long, and I've been very closely watching the way he is organizing this online sessions. And I've been very much happy that he has been contributing his own way. And thank you so much, continuously organizing. And I'm very happy that I'm also part. And if I'm right, this is my second session with this group. Thank you so much. With that brief introduction, let me get into the presentation. Before going to the presentation, let me clear two important points. I don't have any conflict of interest, neither a financial interest. My interest is purely academic, and my interest is just want to share whatever little I know. Gopi, when Gopi is a student, was a student, the place where I started working way back in 1993. And he joined as undergraduate student, then he became a colleague, then he found his own path, and he has reached reasonably a very high level in the field of academics and research. I would wish him all the best at this point. So the agenda going to be, I'm going to brief a kind of how we generally do a literature review, or a typically called as traditional method. And probably I will end with the current challenges, what we have. From there, we will be going with Gopi's presentation, and he is going to give overview how AI been helping and what are all its challenges. Maybe we will be giving some live demo based on available time. He has been lined up a couple of AI tools, and of course, we are going to talk more of a discussion. And I would love to audience to unmute whenever you have any question. Please raise it. We can clarify then and there and go. And finally, we can have some kind of a conclusion with the question and answer session. So when you go to any literature review, generally we need to frame a research question. I've been seeing this kind of online workshop, especially the research methodology related workshop. We generally ask the audience to type. In order to save time, I myself come up with a question. And the question is very close to my expertise. So, is the low dose atropine, especially the 0.01%, effective in controlling myopic progression, specifically in Indian children? So, if we keep this particular question, and we generally use PubMed, and if you type it, what is very interesting is since we narrowed Indian children, atropine, and myopia, probably we are not getting too many matches. But unlike some areas, if I give an example like a diabetic retinopathy, OCT, you'll be having not less than few thousands. So that's where the challenge comes. But interestingly, here in PubMed, this question gave only 4 matches. And another search engine I have tried, and we found nearly 435. Okay, this is fairly a high number. And this is the problem we generally face in our day-to-day life. One side you may get very low match, other side you will be getting a very high match. So you don't know how do we manage which is readable, because you need to complete a project, whether it is undergraduate or a postgraduate or a doctoral or whatever research you are going to do. So you need something reasonably a good number which is going to be workable to you. So once we go with this kind of a method, this is not very ideal. And I'm sure most of you know there is a format called a PICO or a PICOT. And we need to frame this question in the format of PICO or a PICOT. I have splitted this question in the PICO format. Here we don't have any time bound. That is why T stands for time. Basically, P stands for the population or a patient, which is Indian myopes. The I stands for investigation or intervention. In our case, there is no investigation, it's only intervention called low dose atropine 0.1. We don't have a control. What we have is only the outcome is the effectiveness or efficacy or a control, whatever you call it. So with this background, let's go and give a try in PubMed. And of course, you need not to narrow only to a PubMed or a Google Scholar. You do have a Humpty number of database or search engines, which will be very specifically for the biological sciences. These are all the popular one. Some are peer-reviewed indexed, some are not. For example, your Google Scholar is not only listing the PubMed or a PubMed indexed or a peer-reviewed journals alone. In fact, it allows even preprints as well. So as a beginner, or in case you want to know much wider what has been done, it would be ideal to have multiple search engines. I'm sure Gopi and Fakhruddin both will accept. In a science, whenever if you go for a literature review or a systematic review, they ask you to search more than one search engine. So thereby, approximately, you will be getting reasonably a good, wide published content. So what I have done, I have taken the intervention as a low dose atropine with the synonyms. Like, for example, people also use short forms like LDA as a equivalent to low dose atropine. And I have connected with the Boolean operator called OR. I assume the audience are well informed about the Boolean operators. So thereby, I'm just going out with certain assumptions. So if you search it, so you are getting nearly 409 results. And the next one is the population, which is Indian or India. So I have put it, I could have added South India as well. South India also got part of India or Indian. So thereby I felt India, Indian would be all right. You can add as many synonyms with the Boolean operators or. And other important thing, we want to know how effective or how efficacy it has got, or even a good control, whatever you call it. In fact, you can add as many synonyms and you search it. So once you got it and you can see the matches, which is mind-boggling number, it is very difficult for us to read every single paper. So what we got right now, too many matches. For example, if you go low dose atropine, which is 400 roughly, and for India and Indian, you got more than 100,000 matches. The efficacy effective got reasonably a very large number, unimaginably a big number. So you need to use, there is an option called advance. So this advance helps you to get covering all these three areas. To explain it better, this Venn diagram gives an idea. What we have done, we have searched each keyword separately. And what we want is overlapped area of all three, which is this center intersected area. This is what we needed. So this is what we are going to do with the help of advanced search. So once you click the advanced button, you'll be getting this kind of a screen where each searches and the results. So if you click on this three horizontal dots, you will be getting a drop-down box, which would be giving the various Boolean operators like and, or, nor, not, all the six. So with the help of that, you can have a query box filled with this kind of a format. All you need is select this. All you need to choose the Boolean operator called and. That means it has to take all three in the single paper. So with that, what we are getting is 9 matches. Fortunately, we are getting a reasonably low number. So thereby it becomes easier. You can manually scroll down and you can pick it up whatever you want and you can straight away download. But in case if you are going to have reasonably large matches like a 300, 400 or thousands, so you may need to use various filters. The filters are lined up in the left side. You can choose based on year of publication, the publication date basically, whether you want within 1 year, within 5 years, or even you can even put a custom range. As well as you can also look for what type of article you want, whether you want a book or a document, patent, or a randomized clinical trial, reviews, double-blind study, all that. Even you can even narrow down using a filters like a language, because most of the publications are English, but you do have publication in French and other languages as well. And likewise, you can also filter whether you want a human study or animal-based study. So with that kind of a filter, you can narrow it whenever you are going to have a large match. Something similar is available in Google Scholar. I know this is not a session to give an idea how the various search engines works and how we can narrow down. But I just want to give some kind of brief idea so that way you can able to understand, apply it. Each search engine works in a different style. So that is why the advanced search works very, very different. So in Google Scholar, you do have, if you want to put the exact phrase or you want all the words, whether you want this keyword should be available within the article or anywhere in the article or only in the article title. If you are very, very known author, you can get, even you can narrow down the time frame within a range or something. So in the left side, interestingly, the filters also works in the left side, and I have chosen something like roughly 10 years, and I started based on the relevance. And I also chose there is something called review article. You can choose whatever you wanted. So from 450, I could able to get something like 102, which is kind of matchable. 9 is too low, 400 is too high, maybe 100 would be reasonably all right. And you can click on this button called save, then you can download. After you are downloading, you'll be having obviously an exclusive folder. The folders will continue to have all this PDF or a Word document. Hereafter, the most toughest part, what you need to do, you need to keep read, get into the deep reading mode and start making your notes. And of course, even though you started with a research question, but you also need to have certain parameter, what information you want to extract. So in order to understand, maybe you need to keep whether you are interested in between genders, how it is working, whether it's atropine works in a low myope or a high myope or a moderate myope, okay, with what level of astigmatism. So all this would be a sub question. We started with a broad question. Now we are narrowing down with sub question. So that would be something like you need to keep a nice, good, simple table like this, and you start feeding in whatever data you wanted. Of course, this is going to be incredibly time-consuming process. And sometimes what happens after reading, you'll be getting new information. So thereby you'll be getting something called information overloaded, because every single day there is a publication by various articles. Some people do write by blog. Some people do send something called newsletters. So you'll be having something called fear of missing out, and you'll be having your own problem, and of course you'll be having a various bias. One of the key bias is unconscious bias. Basically, you don't know what kind of bias you are carrying. So that is something very unacceptable. So you'll be facing all this problem. So when we hit this kind of a situation, in olden days, you don't have a choice. Basically, in olden days, what we generally do, two reviewers, two almost kind of equally experienced or exposed reviewer, they sit together, they independently review, they kind of see what kind of agreement. But sometimes what happens when you are going to do your own research, like your undergraduate or a postgraduate or a doctor, you don't have a comfort of all that. So that is where your AI tool comes, and which helps in literature review. I'm very clear. I didn't say AI will do a literature review. AI will help you to do a literature review. So basically, I know how AI works, but in the for a decorum, I'm just putting this question to Gopi, whether AI do extract only the information, can it synthesize, or can it list limitation, can even spell out a research gap? Can it do everything separately, or can it be done at one click so that way you can get it? So with this question, I'm going to invite Gopi and share what he has been doing. Then we will take it up the other agenda points. So with that, I'll stop over here. In case anything I miss out, or in case anybody have any question at this point, probably you can unmute and you can clarify before Gopi starts setting his presentation. Thank you. Once again, I thank Fakhruddin, and I'll stay in mute, wait for my part to come. Gopi, all yours.
Thank you, sir. So before I go ahead, I would like to FB to run the polls to understand the audience take on AI-based literature review.
The first poll was just to understand what is the current situation of you doing a literature review. Do you do just the manual search way, what JJB sir has kindly discussed with us and given us a lot of tips, I think, in that 20 minutes of your presentation, where we can pick a lot of these. Do you use reference managing tools? Are you using AI powered tools at this point in time, or perhaps you are somebody who doesn't do literature review? So majority of them are still on the manual search database, and I think it was wonderfully covered with new tips. I hope that we can apply that. People do use for reference management, as well as a couple of them are using it for AI, and a few are very new to literature review. So that's what we have for today's session, the attendees. Okay, thank you for your participation. I'm just going to launch one more poll. We do have one more poll. This is just to understand what kind of challenges is everybody facing when doing literature review. Is it more of finding the relevant papers quickly, Is it more to do with a lot of information and managing them? Is it something for summarizing key findings? And lastly, is it difficult for you to identify research gaps? Almost half of the attendees on Zoom have difficulty in summarizing the key findings. I think the last couple of slides what Sir was telling, tabulating things. I think probably we are gonna hear from you on making our life much more easier in a couple of minutes, Dr. Gopi. Otherwise, it's equally spread between, finding papers, managing large volume, and identifying research gaps. I'm going to run the third one. How many of you have actually used? It's linked to the first question. We just want to know how many of you have used artificial intelligence as a tool for literature review before. What experience probably all of us have. And if you would be kind to write what AI tool you have used in the chat, that would be great so that we know what experiences do you have at this point in time. Okay, so it's a fair split. I think it's 70% of people probably have not used any of the AI tool, and 30% do have some experience. And I see some messages on the chat using Research Rabbit as one of the tool which has come up. And please feel free to put in your tools what you have used, and Dr. Gopi is going to share a couple more how to use them efficiently. So over to you, Dr. Gopi, for the next part. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's dive into the AI-based literature review. So as JJB sir mentioned, I do not have any conflicts or financial interest, whatever tools I'm going to share today. So before I begin, I think over 70% of you, the current audience in this platform, have not used the AI-based tools, and you have maybe very minimal experience with usage of AI. Let me take you through some of the key difficulties which we face with the traditional review as well before I begin. So A, as a research assistant, you can see both the AI and the human sitting together and doing something. So you should be very mindful that you should not lose your control when you are using the AI for literature review. And it has a very leveraging speed and processing power. And at the end, you should always be the decision maker or a critical thinker as a researcher. So please be mindful that AI is here to only assist you and not replace human judgment. So I want you guys to insist on this. Use this as an assistant and do not get it replaced as a human judgment. So that I would like to address the four key aspects which JJB sir mentioned. So you can see how much time he had spent taking those screenshots. Even that was a screenshot. He might have gone through the research question, found the synonyms for each research question, like the atropine and the low dose atropine, efficacy and effect of some treatment. So which is a really time consuming process from identifying your PICO research, like converting your research question into a PICO format and then putting it in the PubMed or a Google Scholar platform, identifying or combining the keywords with Boolean characters like and or not, and then it takes really a lot of time. And you get overwhelming volume with respect to number of articles you get. You might also miss out many of the key studies, and there is a lot of selection bias as a researcher. So how we handle or how we are going to address these hurdles, how AI actually can tackle these traditional challenges. AI actually is a faster in searching and filtering, which can rank the relevant studies in seconds or minutes, not in days or weeks. So that in that way, you are going to reduce the time and the volume of paper you are going to get. And it also helps you find the trend and the gap in the particular research. It can detect the patterns recurring themes and potential research gap as well, so that you are going to address the aspect of volume and missing out the key studies. And the last part is the summarization or extracting the insight from the available literature, also the methodologies and findings from multiple papers. So we have the research question, that is, you are trying to research on low dose atropine, that is 0.01% effective in controlling myopia progression in Indian children. How the AA is going to help in this aspect, let's see. So it is going to identify the most cited and relevant papers. I'm going to demonstrate it in a while. It is going to provide you with concise summary of core findings and methodologies, and it can also highlight potential research gap or emerging trends suggested in the literature. So without wasting time, I'm going to demonstrate you two key aspects. Most of you might be aware of this. Elicit, which is a tool, can help you find papers, summarize, as well as chat with the PDF which you are going to upload. And ChatGPT we might have used for many things, but whether it can be used for research per se, yeah, let's see that. So I'm going to switch to my Google Chrome. Let me copy this research question. I have gone to my Chrome. So you type in elicit, you'll get this screen, and conventionally, as other things, you have to sign in to get papers. So you can use any of your Google or any account to sign in, and you have limited options in the basic version. If you want to upgrade it, you can upgrade. There is a cost behind that. I'll take you through one by one. First is the find papers. When you have a research question, you just have to type in the research question and then it starts finding paper. There is an option of get research report. Again, you can try and give some examples of research question. It will get a research report. There is a new inclusion of systematic review, which works only in the professional mode. You can also extract data from PDF, and you can also list concepts for any new research you want to do. So this is the 5 aspects which are available. I'm going to focus only on finding papers. Now, maybe I will try to demonstrate how we can extract some data from the PDF we are going to upload. So without wasting time, I'm going to paste the research question. So as soon as you pasted the question, it is actually saying it is a good research question, considering these elements for better results, whether we are going to add this. If you remember what JJB sir was doing, he had a research question and he has to put it as a keyword separately and search. Tools like Elicit can provide you or improve your research question per se. I'm not going to take any of these suggestions. I'm going to directly click over here. So it is generating results. You can see it is summarizing top 4 papers. If you want more papers to be summarized, you need to have a subscribed version. So you can see how much time it has taken, maybe minutes. It is very clear. Low dose atropine 0.01% has shown effectiveness. It has cited some paper, be it, or most of them are recent ones like 2022, 2024. In fact, even JJB sir's slides had these papers, in fact. And it is concluding that these findings suggest low dose atropine, that is 0.01%, is safe and effective treatment for myopia control, especially in Indian children. So let's go through the papers below. You can see you can sort it as the traditional PubMed. You can sort in a different way. You can filter. I will show you. You can also export. So exporting, again, you have options of RIS, CSV, and BibText. You can extract up to 50 papers, but only in case of if you have a upgraded version. Let me show you what you can do without paying any money for the in the platform of Elicit. So now it is in the form of most relevant. Let's keep it in the most relevant itself. If you go down, It has papers. First one is 2024 published, effectiveness of low dose atropine interventional cohort in pediatric patient, published in Pan American Journal of Ophthalmology. On the right hand side, you can see there are multiple column creations. You have main findings, methodology, intervention, outcome measures. You can add all these things. If you go to show more, you can have actually the research gaps, summary, methodology, intervention, maximum of 3. So I'm going to have, already summary is there. I'm going to add the main findings. So once I add the main findings, the columns keep adding. So the first paper's main findings are presented here. The second paper's main findings are presented here. And then you want to look at the limitations of this paper, just click on the limitations. As soon as you click the second column, it says we have already crossed the basic version. And yeah, limitation is presented here. Sample size is 40, which had short-term follow-up and lack of information on long-term effects of low-dose atropine. So there are limitations presented. So after this, you may not be able to add columns. So what you can do is, you can go to the, again, click on this, delete this column and delete this column. You again get 2 more options of managing columns you can add. So likewise, if you find time, this might take some more time, like the traditional literature review. But if you are having time and then you want to do something on this, maybe let me click on future research. You can sit and do this. So it is saying no, not mentioned on abstract. So this is one problem in this elicit, where if they have mentioned by the researcher only, it will pick up the future research. Otherwise, if I go to the sort option, you can also have sorting with as low, most recent. You get only the papers published in the last couple of years. You can go to least recent and most cited. This is one I actually like. So 2016, so low dose atropine and myopia things are not new. In 2016 itself, people have done, and you can see that it has been cited almost like 469 times. And 2015, there are a couple of papers, 2019. So it works like how many times it has been cited, that many papers actually comes out. I'll go to most relevant again. You can either click on this paper and go to summary. This is the overall summary of the paper. Again, go back. You can click on this paper again. It actually gives you the abstract alone. You will not be able to get the full text through the elicit itself. So what you can do is either click on the DOI and copy the DOI. Once it is copied, you can paste it here. So it will directly take you to the paper. Otherwise, there is an option of source. If you click on the source, again, it will open as a new tab. And you can, if it is an open access journal or article, you can download and then keep it for further reading. So for the want of time, actually, I have downloaded a couple of papers. And if you go down and say load more, some more papers will come. So if you remember from the PubMed, what JJB sir mentioned, he got only around 8 to 10 papers hardly. But in this case, you are able to generate more papers or understand many papers which are relevant to the keywords. As you keep going down, you keep getting papers. So all these papers are relevant to your research question, the keywords which you have used. So you need not worry about the accuracy. In fact, the accuracy is much better. And I have used it immensely, extensively from its launch time. So all these papers are actually true. Unlike you get it from other platforms, they generate random references. It's not like that. So it takes references only from PubMed or authenticated databases. So once this is done, I'm going to go back again, go to elicit. I'll copy my research question. 1 second. I'm going to copy this and get research report. If you click on here, same thing, it is evaluating the strength of the question and then give a search. It is going to do screen for top papers, 10 papers and generate. Yeah, it is actually generating. You have only the option of viewing the paper because we don't have a subscription. It is gathering first 50 papers. It is screening for papers, actually filtering based on the inclusion criteria. It is going to extract data and generate summary. Let's see how it works. It takes a bit of time. It is saying we have only 3 more minutes. Do you have any point, FB, you want to?
Yeah. So while this is being generated, there's one question which has popped up on the chat. It's come to me while you're showing us the benefits of elicit. The question is, there are 2 parts. One is, does it look at all the databases in your experience? And number 2 is there a need to search for literature review even though we have elicit? So what is your recommendation? Do we still go the traditional way too, or we just rely on elicit?
So I do both of them. Most of the times when I start looking for papers, my first preference would be traditional way. Go there, do quick search, identify some key papers which you are getting, and then use those same keywords and research question in elicit or any platform where you can get the literature, especially the AI platforms. You will start getting papers. Elicit almost covers most of the databases like Scopus or be it PubMed or the Web of Science. There are platforms, other AI platforms where it is focused only on healthcare papers and engineering papers. So elicit is more towards healthcare related and it is actually reliable one. So that's what going to be my experience. So it is almost done. Okay. Let's see.
And once the other question just came on is when you are showing us the summary of each paper, does the summary come from the articles who have full text or it comes from the articles where only abstract is done?
Most of the times it is from the full text if it is available as full text.
Yeah.
Otherwise, only from the abstract. Okay. So as a researcher, again, it's your responsibility. Go to the main text and then look for any discrepancies are there from the generated reports.
Yeah, so because sometimes, we want to see the full text because there's more data in terms of, putting it in our research question. So yeah, we'll have to go back and see the original article on whether it was free access or open access in this case, and then take it that way. Yeah.
Maybe I will add one point.
Yeah.
This AI tool is not an alternate place where you can download any PDF file where it is not openly available. Okay, this is not the alternate source. Okay, so wherever the access being given, this AI tool goes and reads for you and summarize based on the algorithm. Suppose if the open text is not available, maybe that will not be included in the full text. As Gopi rightly said, it will still take it, but in the form of what part is available. Okay, so this is not an alternate way to download your PDF files where you are not able to get it.
So it has given me some results. Still, it is in the background, it is running. If you can see, it is showing some criteria. You have to go again as a clinician or researcher, look for the authenticity. It is picking up the intervention, study design, and it is also giving some scores. And then based on that, It has extracted 40 key points and from the key papers, and finally it is actually generating the report. So by the time it generates report, I just thought I will show you how ChatGPT can be effectively used in this case. So once you go to ChatGPT, you have options like you can upload papers from your computer or from your Google Drive. So most when I have tried from the ChatGPT aspect, 1 second, yeah. So if you see here, I have already downloaded papers, all the papers which I was looking for on the atropine and its effectiveness. And I have managed to merge these papers, and I'm uploading it in the ChatGPT. The reason being, it may not allow you to upload more than 5 or 10 PDFs. So I would recommend you, even if you have 50 PDFs separately, merge all these PDFs together and then upload as a single PDF so that you do not have a trouble in uploading the PDFs on the platform of ChatGPT. Now it all begins how you are going to ask the question or the prompt engineering we say. The prompts are very key aspects. So you can say these papers talks about the efficacy of low dose atropine in Indian children. Now extract key findings and tabulate it. I'm going to go very simple, like tabulate with name, participant details, limitations. First, we'll ask for conclusion for that methods, key findings, and conclusion. So also generate a new research hypothesis. I'm going to keep this a very simple way, prompt. So it is actually reading the documents. It is not generating text. It is only reading these documents. It says also there can be any discrepancies, errors, which can lead to potential found. Okay. So you have to look at in a proper way. I don't know why it is giving all these things. Would you like to give a formal response? I don't know, something new is happening. What is it saying? Okay. Continue. I'm just saying continue. No extract responses. So it is extracting. So it is only from the 4 or 5 papers which we actually submitted. So this is the new research proposed question, and it could open new avenues and synthesize. So actually you can further write proposals. You can also further write research design. You can keep continuing chat with the ChatGPT, but you should be very mindful that it is going to help you only drafting some ideas, not exact ideas which you can implement in the research setup or clinical setup. Let's go back to Elicit and see whether it has completed. Yeah, it has completed the generation. It is giving abstracts, study details, sample size, what are the study design, what is the spherical equivalent change, axial and change, and again some key findings. Actually, it takes a lot of time when you do it in a traditional way. And also the references. So you can download it as a text or save it as a PDF, anything, any form you can do it. So that's how it works. And I think these two things I thought I will share, how Elicit and ChatGPT can be used in summarizing and as well as literature mining. Over to you, JJB sir, again.
Thank you, Dr. Gopi. Yeah.
Thanks, Gopi. That was very precise, very concise manner showing how AI can able to assist as a tool. Let me start share my PPT again.
Yeah, and while JJB sir is sharing the slides, I think there was one question. Probably JJB sir will cover it, but just out of curiosity, it asks whether whatever we do using AI, is it acceptable and does it fall under plagiarism? Any thoughts?
In fact, that is a point of discussion I want to discuss with
Okay.
along with the audience. If you look at very carefully the clear definition of plagiarism, that means you are copying someone article directly without quoting their name and you claim it is yours. That is where the plagiarism comes. Okay, that is a copyright violation related. But here we are not actually downloading the paper or the text. What we are doing is basically asking the AI tool to summarize or whatever information you are looking for. You need not to ask summarize every time. You may ask key finding. You may ask aim of the study or limitation of the study, sample size, everything. So what is being there publicly, which you are going to do it. But you are not going to just publish the extracted information and that alone. Okay, of course, in a systematic review, those things you'll be making some transformations and then you are going to do it. As long as you are going to maintain the standard non-plagiarism related, I don't think you have any problem at this moment right now. And just because you are downloading informations or getting extracting information using AI, can authorship can be shared like a chat GPT is one of your co-author. In fact, that has happened in one of the paper, but lately that was rejected, if I'm right. Gopi, you have any experience or you have any response on plagiarism and authorship?
Uh, yeah, authorship is specifically current. Most of the journals last 1.5 years, they clearly mention AI generated text cannot be provided as an authorship, especially the Springer journals. If you go with high impact journals like I, they have a very clear say that it has to be you should be disclosing the use of AI platforms in any form of manuscript writing or literature review. Disclose it in the article, as well as you cannot provide authorship for the AI or any generative tool. And to answer your question on the experience of plagiarism and things, so we should be very clear that all these data or text are actually extracted from the article and it is generated or it is summarizing from the article. So there might be plagiarism aspect if you are going to copy and then paste the same exact information from the AI platform which you are going to get. So sometimes like ChatGPT might take the same sentence what the authors have written. So from the conclusion, if you are going, so we are not going to use the same sentence for our paper as well. So you should be very mindful on that aspect. Otherwise, if you're going to directly use that, it is going to show more of AI generated text rather than plagiarism. So that's one thing I thought I will share.
Okay. So from your side and my presentation, it has been very clear. AI cannot replace current researchers or even in the future. Definitely not in the near future. Definitely that much is very, very clear. You also clarified in some extent how reliable they are. And we have very clearly seen elicit given a different kind of format. ChatGPT gives a different format. In fact, ChatGPT did not give the expected response. You have to re-ask. So what we need to keep one particular point in our mind, you need to be very clear and you need to speak the machine language in order to get the result. If you're going to type some random question or random keywords, obviously you'll be getting something, but it is not going to be very reliable. Do you have any experience where a meaningful question been asked, but the response was completely unacceptable?
In ChatGPT, you mean, or any?
In general, I'm asking.
Yeah, initial times, yes, it was. If you see, 1.5 1 year back, when I was searching some paper in ChatGPT itself, it will generate random references, which is not even a publication. But right now, they are actually evolving, and you can give a comment that you have to search only in PubMed, not in general sources, or do not create or generate your own references. Then it actually works. So the prompt, how we give, actually matters a lot than the more than the research question, and the way you ask actually matters a lot. So I would recommend everyone to learn the art of asking a proper research question and giving a proper like input in the platform, so that the output is not so problematic, or it is reliable. Otherwise, you will end up in some misinformation, which is going to be a problem. Yeah.
That leads to another important point, the misinformations, what we are getting. In fact, I have encountered multiple times with the multiple AI tools, some kind of misinformations. The reason why I could able to very clearly say that information is not a reliable one, because we generally tend to search or work on the area of what you are working, or your specialization or something, or expertise of something. So thereby it has become very easier. So my experience in terms of misinformations, it's not just because of the keyword. Keyword is one aspect, or the prompt, what you are going to use it, is the one key important point. But of course, the misinformation comes from based on the available information to the AI tools. So, as you rightly said very clearly, it includes not just published paper. It takes even a non-peer reviewed preprints and even blogs. It takes into consideration. So, whatever information is available, so that is what it is going to generate. So, we need to be very careful. And you have anything more to add in terms of misinformations, or how do we validate what the systematically validate the AI tool generated information?
What I do is go to like pick up random, like it gives maybe 10 15 papers, and then go to the particular reference and recheck and validate it once, whether they are reliable or not. Not all the papers, at least handpick maybe the key papers which you want to make it as a seminal paper in your research question. Maybe pick those 4 to 5 papers and recheck once, so that you can double validate whether it is right or wrong. That's what I do. Maybe if you have any, have you done anything else?
What I do, in fact, I use it like I myself ask the ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT is widely used by me. So I asked like how reliable you are, how many paper you have included, did you miss out anything? And it's like a kid; it just spells out whatever it did it. So that is another way to validate what information. Maybe you can ask, did you included only the research paper? Did you use blog or a preprint related information? It gives those kind of answers as well, very nicely. And that is another way of validating. I think we need to be a little creative. In fact, that leads to a very interesting point. One of my friends in a close group, WhatsApp group, he forwarded AI kills creativity. I don't know whether it's really kills, but I feel it's up to you, your creativeness, and how you are going to engage AI tool in order to help you. I think that is my personal experience with the AI tools. Probably want of time, we will stop those point, and probably we will just move to the next point. Since AI tool not a human, so humans do have bias. conscious bias or unconscious bias, or you don't know the various source of bias. What kind of bias AI tool do have? I know it is completely a new area. We don't know as of now, but I just want to hear from you.
Maybe the input which we give can have an bias. Otherwise, the search, the previous searches what we have done so far, that can actually lead to a bias. So if you go to chat gpt, if you are not done a temporary search, not all the data is already with the chat gpt. You just have to say, okay, from my previous search, analyze my pattern, or who am I, something like that, and it gives you a very clear pattern. What are your searches, how you have done, what you are actually, whether you're a researcher or a clinician. So with that note, if you're going with a new research question, it might be biased from the data which you have searched before. So that's the one key thing which I thought I'll tell.
Gopi, did you close the ChatGPT window right now? What you open, or still it is available?
It is open.
Okay. So what I want to show you something which might be interest to many. Can you go to ChatGPT right now? I stop sharing it right now.
It is up.
Hold on. Okay. Can you click on the there is a button called Explore GPTs.
Yeah.
Did you click on that?
Yeah. It is in the Explore GPT.
Okay. By any chance, okay, go down. Okay, hold on. Here you got something called Scholar GPT, which has been added very recently right now. Maybe some of you are aware. So maybe if you go, because this is what is happening in a technology side, they constantly improve based on the feedback. So if you go to this particular mode, the response what we are getting is much more reliable than a generalized uh, information you ask in a AI tools. So this is specifically designed for a scholarly searches. So maybe you can try this. I don't know. Maybe you are aware about this?
I have used some of these. Like there is a Scholar GPT. There are more Explore GPTs available. You can develop research proposal. You can do data analysis. Along with that, I have seen.
So you can think of.
You can just say, let's see. It is saying talking to. Okay, it's generating. So I'll stop sharing. Yeah, it is giving responses. Yes.
So this is another way to validate.
Yeah. Actually, it is giving some PDF. If I click it here, it takes me to the PDF and exact PDF. In fact, yeah, myopia pathogenesis and intervention. Nice. Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Going back to my slide. Okay. The next important point, the data privacy. Just because you are searching in your windows, you cannot put any data. Sometimes your own old data, what you are going to put it and ask for a extraction or doing some kind of analysis. It is quite natural that we try to explore as much as possible, but we don't know how our data is being stored or being extracted from you and it is going to be used. We don't know. So we need to be very sensitive in terms of putting any information, whether it's a personal or official or your research data onto the AI tool, because we don't know what happened the behind. Do you have any recommendation? Because we try to maximize these AI tools, but it becomes an attempt. Okay. So what is your recommendations?
So So don't add anything like, especially if it is not published or unpublished papers or your key work which you want to present it somewhere. Don't upload in any of the platforms, because once you push it, even if you delete it, it is in the cloud. It is with the we have given access for that chat gpt or any platform, saying okay, you can use my data, and it is going to use it for someone else when they search for the same thing. So when you have something unpublished, please do not upload in the platforms.
So any
Or any patent related or any privacy related, please do not.
yeah. So that kind of gives an idea to you what should be done, what should not be done. Want of time, we are going to leave this particular slide. Of course, the OOLS got a policy that once the presentation is over, the entire presentation is going to be available as a YouTube link. So you can go over and you can get what should be done, what should not be done. Please be clear what you are going to do. Of course, AI is a tool and it can maximize your potential. But of course, a right tool with a right person gives the best result. I think that is how we need to think about it. So, Gopi, would you like to conclude? Or
Yeah.
before concluding, would you like to take some more questions? Or is there any audience? Would you like to unmute and ask any question?
I think most of the questions I have answered in the comment itself.
Yeah,
And
questions have come up on the comments as well. And to the attendees, if you have any other questions, you can either.
I don't have a
unmute.
question. I just have a comment. Can I share?
Yes, Dr. Is, please go ahead.
Yeah. So regarding this GPT, of course, I think we'll cover that in the course as well. We can develop a GPT in a sense, like as they showed the Scholar GPT. There are criteria and script that we can build in to make the process even more efficient. So with GPT, we need to be a bit more careful compared to the standard AI search engines that are available, because they've already been tested for accuracy and stuff like that. GPT is going to just pull stuff like, especially with respect to healthcare and niche areas, it's still not learned super well. Okay. So if you really scrutinize it, you'll understand that. So in terms of creating like Scholar GPT for that matter, the script is super important. And I think that will be probably, we can cover as part of the course. Yeah. Because GPT is accessible, I don't want someone to just directly jump into GPT and end up doing a systematic review, So that's the reason why I'm mentioning about the issues with GPT still. I mean, Chat GPT 4.0 as such, yeah.
Yeah, we are yet to launch the details of the course. I think Dr. Iswara can do that if you're okay. Otherwise, FB can do that.
I mean, I'm okay. If FB is prepared, he can. I mean, anything is okay. I mean, I'm totally fine.
No problem. Yeah, we'll let everybody know. So the course with Dr. Rees is talking about, we have a full-fledged course. I see some questions about also asking, are there more tools? Yes, of course. I mean, we have just kind of given you some basic idea, but there are of course more tools and more towards what we can do. This is just to give you a rough idea of what AI can be used for in assisting us. I like the quote on the slide. If none of you want to read it, I would like to read it. It's a powerful tool as an assistant rather than, replacing humans. So that's a very nice quote, a very nice way to kind of bring that information to everybody. Yeah.
In fact, this we have not written. This particular quote been written by AI. If
Okay.
Gopi can confirm.
In fact, all the text and the information which we just validated, but most of the content which were presented today actually prepared by AI.
Yeah. Wonderful. Great. There were a couple of questions on, we did talk about literature review, but there was a couple of questions about asking about statistics in terms of helping to write research papers. Are there any AI tools to assist in statistical analysis and things like that as well? So yeah.
There are tools, but I don't have much of experience because, as I told before, I am very peculiar about giving my data into the platform. So I have not used much, but there are tools which maybe I can review, and then you can, if you follow me in LinkedIn, any of you, I usually share many of the insights. So I will post it maybe in this week. What are the tools which we can use it with respect to statistical analysis?
Yeah. Okay, great. So thank you so much
And
for.
in case you have any question or any comments, feedbacks, we love to hear from you. And this is our email ID. Feel free to write to us. And of course, you can write to Fakhruddin as well.
Sure, definitely. Yes. So thank you once again to Jothi sir and Dr. Gopi for leading this for us today. To the attendees, we are now sharing the feedback form link on the chat, and this is also the QR code for the feedback form. If you have any questions or any feedback, please feel free to put up on this form as well. We do have session planned over the next couple of weeks. And then take care, be safe, and I hope to see you during the next sessions. Bye bye.